I'm at 248 Green Street in Dayton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyers. The access point, if you're facing the house, it is on the left side, just outside if you're coming out the sliding doors into the courtyard, it's right at the point where the walkway kind of curves towards the front of the house. It's facing the side street. I'm not familiar with the street name, but we are going to try to go downstream, and we're also going to try to go upstream. There may only be a few feet of pipe upstream, but we still want to try to inspect that. So we'll drop all the way to the bottom, and that ought to tell us pretty quickly whether or not we'll be able to go upstream. We'll go whichever way it sends me. It looks like we are going downstream. This is PVC, which is good. This means it was all replaced. The roughness of it, this with the ABS, I would say this was probably done in late 70s, early 80s. And as it leaves the property, it goes into clay. This would have been the original line, or the original material. And let's see if we have some root intrusion here at about 23 feet. And that may be caused by based off of the placement, this is probably caused by the trees out by the street. But yeah, 23, 24 feet, we'll say on average, or in between, that was about 24 feet. Some root intrusion that can be taken care of with a cleaning and or some chemical treatment. They make a stuff called Root X that could be used. You put it down the pipe, it doesn't kill the tree, it just kind of burns back the roots to keep it from clogging up the pipe. So here's a little more, about 40 feet. We're getting down into the flow line, so it's getting to the spot where you may want to have it cleaned. After the initial cleaning, you'll probably want to either add that Root X like once a year to have it just to try to keep the roots at bay, or you have it cleaned about every 3-4 years or so. If it's done well, it'll take that long for the roots to grow. Okay, so made it all the way to the main. I'm actually going to pause the video here and go get a locate so I can see exactly where this ties into the main, and that way it'll give me an idea of what direction this runs and how it's configured, so I can kind of get an idea of what trees and if the municipality may take responsibility if any structural issues occur with the line due to the trees that I'm assuming are maintained by the city, as they are at the curb. So I'm going to pause the video and locate where this is. Alright, so yeah, that goes straight out and ties in the side street here. It's almost straight out. It kind of makes a couple little slight 22s or 45s, but ends up pretty much straight out. Ties into the main. But, so there are a couple spots with some root intrusion. We mentioned 40 feet and 24 feet. And so you will have to pay attention to that. Like I mentioned, I would have it cleaned now, and then if done well, if they're able to get a 6-inch double knife in there, at least a 4, they should be able to get this cleaned out, and it should be good for a couple years. But if you use like a Root X in between, say once a year, then that would also help to keep the roots down, and then you can do a follow-up inspection in about 5 years or so, and see how things are going. See if the root what the pace of the root growth is, and be able to set up a maintenance schedule just to make sure. And you could also talk to the city about, like I said, if there's any, if it does ever cause any structural issues. I mean, most of these, they get in at those little hairline, there's little hairline gaps from the original connections where the packing just breaks down and allows a little bit of roots in. There's a tree almost directly on top of this, so it's not surprising. It's very, very common for clay lines to have some root intrusion. As long as it's not doing any physical or structural damage to the pipe, it's not a bad problem. So. So everything looks good. Structurally, you just have those roots at 24 and 40 feet. I'm going to try to get back in here, and we're going to see if we can get the camera to go upstream. So I'm going to pause the video, or I'm sorry, I'm going to turn the microphone off for a second, and we're going to see if I can get this to go upstream to get the few feet that are between here, the clean out in the house. Okay, so that is a sweep, so we're unable to go upstream. And so just to sum it up, the only thing we really found, the line is in great shape structurally, just has some roots at 24 feet and 40 feet. And so I'm going to recommend a cleaning, and then maybe some chemical treatment once a year. And do a follow-up inspection in 5 years or so, just to see what kind of root growth you have and get a better idea of a maintenance schedule. See how often you actually have to treat it. So that'll end the inspection at 248 Green Street in Dayton, Ohio.